We're live.
Live with Greg.
Yeah.
Live with Greg.
Live with Greg.
Oh, live with Greg.
It's all right. It could be either one.
It could be. Why wouldn't it be live?
Because dead men tell no tales. That doesn't make sense because this is a tale.
It's a what?
This is a tale. This is a story.
It's a tale. A tale of two people.
My shoes.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So I usually do an introduction, but we don't have to. So this is Holly Badgley Stern, artist extraordinaire.
And you're in my studio, and it's a mess and full of energy right now.
Good. Could you imagine walking into an artist studio? Well, like I'm looking around, I don't see a mess. So whatever you're referring to as messy.
Well, it's not really messy, but it's, well, if you look a little closer over there.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like, isn't that the byproduct of the creative process?
It's the multiplication of the raw material, shall we say. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good analogy for life. We all have our scraps falling.
Oh yes, our scraps. It's interesting, you know, the collections. I'm in a big collection mode right now because we had to clear out Peter's cousin's house, and it's like I can't leave things to just go to the landfill. You know, I have to put things in bags and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna take it over here. And then some stuff I keep, you know, and little by little the house is filled with dead people's stuff. And what I think is shocking to Peter is the fact that the stuff outlives us, you know. We're finite, but the stuff can live on for centuries.
It's true.
You never really think about it, but it's true. Or else it goes to landfill. God, it's just terrible. But anyway, yeah, what?
I don't know that landfill scenario is terrible. Like, think about that. If all our stuff went back to the earth at the end of our life.
That would be beautiful. That would be. And you know what? I've even gotten a little less anal about recycling. It's like, okay, well, it goes to landfill. It's going to compost one way or the other. You know, I mean, I love the whole green waste and recycling and trash. And, you know, we pride ourselves very much on having the least amount of trash as anybody on our street, you know, because people just don't know how to recycle, is the fact of it. But then you think, you know, oh yeah, I could scrub this out and, you know, just put it in the trash, for God's sake. It's going to break down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. That's a fine balance, I think, of ease, of mind and spirit, and holding truths, because our lackadaisical R being the big all-encompassing R, lackadaisical life with plastic has created an ocean of chaos.
I know, the plastic. I know. And there's some plastic I just adore. I mean, if you look over here, it keeps all my stuff organized, right? But it does break down after a while. And it's true. I mean, we're just way, you know, anyway, we do our best. We do our best. We do our best. But it is, you know, it's just, it's overwhelming to think of all the garbage that there is. You know, not just in the ocean, but I mean, and people make livings off of going through garbage. And that's a great thing. Talk about a great thing, you know, that it's like in third world countries, people make a living. They survive off of the trash.
I don't think you have to go very far from where we are right now
No.
to find people.
Well,
who
that's
are
true. In the city, you see people pushing carts and the little Chinese ladies with their hats on, and they're going through all and taking all this stuff out. Yeah, so that's part of the whole, is all the echelons of life, and thank God for that, gotta say.
Maybe it really is all working out.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Maybe it is wonderful.
Maybe it is wonderful. We just have to get over ourselves.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I think in life there's these two emotions that kind of work together. The dark and the light, the good and bad.
I agree. I just heard this great audiobook, and it was, are you familiar with Napoleon Hill?
No.
Well, it's attributed to him. He was an author, researcher, etc. from like the 30s, 40s. Anyway, it's a conversation with the devil, like an interview with the devil. And what's brilliant, it's like a self-help book thing. But the devil, in essence, is just an embodiment of that dark energy.
Right.
And like you're just saying, that what the narration is that balance, and that every choice we make is a negative or a positive choice. Not that one's better than the other, but they do have their results.
Right.
So choices coming from greed and fear are going to have results that are based in that. Like energy begets energy.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that sounds interesting.
It was very interesting.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this is manifesting very, very strongly in our being affected by the politics now.
Oh, we're gonna go.
No, we're not really.
Oh, we can.
No.
I would not think of anyone else I'd rather go there with than you.
Well, but the thing is, I take it on a very different level. I don't have facts and whatnot. I just have feelings, or...
There's no room for feelings in politics. How do you vote? Well, I feel. That'd be a great conversation.
But we're very affected by what's going on. That's all I'm saying. I think... And then at a certain point, now it's spring, it's like, fuck this shit. Let's just go garden. For God. I can't think about it, So there's like this anxiety, but then there's also the other side. There we go, the two sides, that just needs replenishment from the earth, or, to use my body in a way that feels ancient,
Does having a partner, husband, who is very engaged in the political realm keep you in that realm? You know what I mean? Like you really aren't able to just let go of it completely because your husband...
Well, he's not running for office or anything like that. And the interesting thing about Peter is that he knows how to... I'm sure that, I don't know everything that goes on in his brain, but he knows how to let down. And in his life, he's a very fortunate guy. And as a result, of course, I'm fortunate. But I've learned so much from him about, relaxing, and just going down and reading books in bed or whatever. That kind of is just the life, And so, I don't feel like he's, sometimes he is all hyped up and, he reads, he holds out in his room and reads on the screen, the New York Times and all this stuff. But I don't know if he frets about it so much, and he's the guy that goes off by himself for a week and just is by himself. He's very self-sufficient in that way. So I don't feel like, I think where I would get hooked in more would be Facebook, posts or, all the things I get online from some of us, change.org, move on, all that stuff, but not necessarily from my husband. And because, our brains are a little bit different, so he doesn't, like have to process it with me so much, which is nice.
You think it's a good thing that change and move on and Facebook are in your life to kind of like, so that thread remains intact and you don't let go completely?
Oh, I don't let go completely anyway. And the other thing is that I listen to podcasts a lot. So I like, I don't think we can let go entirely. And I think it's a process of educating ourselves somewhat, to the best of our abilities. I'm an artist. And actually, with my mom, who's 91, we're all doing this project with a group of artists right now, using toilets. It's kind of fun.
Sounds like a moving project.
Everybody's gonna do their own toilet and use the metaphor of the flushing down so it's very interesting. So that I feel engaged with that, like I'm doing something that will have some meaning,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's okay.
You just picture like
Peter's
23 toilets are going to show up at City Hall, and that'll be the political statement. And
well, we're trying for Yerba Buena, actually.
Yerba Buena. Oh, right. That's it. Yeah.
My mom, many years ago, had an installation there with shopping carts. She did this whole installation with homeless people and writing their stories on the flaps and rounding them up like Conestoga wagons. So it was a very powerful thing, and so this is a collaboration in it. And so I'm excited. Yes, the toilet. Peter can't stand it. It really offends his sensibilities. Toilets, But a lot of people are very excited about it because it's pretty base, shall we say.
Visceral.
Well, and here's the deal, Greg, oh God, this is too embarrassing.
Let's go there. Come on.
I immediately got imagery for what I wanted to do. And I thought I was going with Homeland Security, but not in the sense of, surveillance so much as what makes us feel secure. But the toilet, the image that I had also was the toilet being wrapped in barbed wire, And then I realized a lot of people don't get that, And then I realized, well, it was just a healing or a thing that I have with toilets. It's like, okay, that part is my own personal healing. The whole security blanket thing that I'm going to do talks about our sense, what gives us security, and the security blanket with the little satin around, and and then I'm thinking of all the things that security and Homeland Security. Well, homeland security, or all the things, social security, those kinds of things. So that's the more political part. But I had to kind of process, because sometimes you find an image and it's like, it's more of a personal thing rather than a political thing. So I had to acknowledge that for myself, that it has great meaning for me, but in a way that nobody else might relate to. So that was a real learning curve for me. But it's interesting to work with my mom, who was driving me a little crazy because she's a non-stop visionary. She's constantly getting these ideas. But I think this is an idea that it is going to come to fruition and might actually be a powerful thing. So I'm supporting her in that.
I forget the woman's name who did the table. That was her famous one, artist.
Oh, yeah, Julie, Chicago.
Chicago.
Judy Chicago.
Judy Chicago, that's it.
Yeah. She was just in town, actually, again,
At the
doing
museum.
something.
So, do you think that installation with the table truly helped move humanity in a positive direction?
When was that? Was that in the 70s?
Early
Yeah, I was
70s.
out of town. That's my big excuse for a lot of things. Oh yeah, I wasn't around then. So I
Well,
don't.
let me ask you this then, on
okay.
a personal level, is your life better off for that artist being
For that
alive?
particular artist. I don't know. I don't have a total relationship with that piece. I never saw it in person or anything. But I think it was probably an important. I think it was probably an important phenomenon for that time to bring out female empowerment and sexuality.
Okay,
Yeah.
so something like the vagina monologues
Kind of
can
thing.
have life
Yes.
because of what that table
That there's a need.
installation.
Yeah. Well, yes. Maybe
The reason
so.
I ask
Mm-hmm.
is to bring validation to you and your moms and the other women
And
artists
men.
involved.
It's
And
not
men,
just
okay.
men.
So the other artists involved,
Right. Yeah.
that this installation truly has a potential for social improvement, to truly impact the political narrative.
I think it has real possibility, because what it represents is the things that are could be being flushed down the toilet. Values that we all share, ways of perceiving democracy, and these policies or things that we've held dear. So that these expressions, plus it's when you give expression to your frustration or your concerns, and I think that gives people permission to do that as well.
I believe Donald Trump is our president because people weren't listening to a very strong voice that was getting angrier and angrier.
Because people weren't
listening. And that's why it was
You
such
think
a surprise.
he is because they weren't listening to a
Because-
strong voice, meaning him?
No,
Or-
meaning that people, liberal,
Mhm.
academically minded people,
Mhm.
and I put myself in that realm as
Mhm.
well, weren't hearing a voice in the United States that had been speaking for a long time.
Mhm. What voice was that?
It was your,
I'm sorry?
it was, it was the people who voted for Donald Trump.
Okay,
And still a lot of them supporting him.
sure.
And the reason I bring this up is I think it's a easy and common train of thought to land on, that like our good policies are being flushed down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And not allowing for the opposition of that train of thought to have voice and life and be heard.
Mm-hmm.
So as we as human beings grow, kind of going back to the dark and the light, the negative and the positive, to let the opposition have voice.
Right. Well, they certainly are. And some of the podcasts I listen to talk about, maybe it was Kamau Bell, who was interviewing the Ku Klux Klan guy and some other guy, and I believe that there is common ground. I guess that's what I want to say. I believe that we can have common ground. And, my acupuncturist, who's a very individual thinker, he said, well, it's not a democracy if you want everybody to think like you, that your way is the right way. And I feel that that's so. And I think this is still something that needs expressing.
Right.
And one of the women, this is interesting, Greg, one of the women artists who's going to be part of this is named Beth Grossman. And she goes around the country, and her thing is the Bill of Rights. And she has these money bags, and she does calligraphy on them. And so she'll set up a table somewhere and start doing the calligraphy about, some quality of the Bill of Rights, and then she'll ask people, well, do you know anything about the Bill of Rights? And maybe they'll say one or two things, and so it's sort of an educational thing. It's not like, well, this is right or this is wrong. It's kind of like this interactive and active project that she does with these money bags. It's just fascinating, and I really applaud her because she's really living this project. It's a living educational art project. That's kind of, then she can hand out what the Bill of Rights. I don't even know what the Bill of Rights are, so I'm going to learn something too.
Right.
And plus, we're going to Tennessee, honey. And me and Peter are going to Tennessee. Tennessee. Yeah. Arrested Development, do you remember that?
That's the song.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I love that
It's the
song.
best. They were
Totally
knocking
the
out.
best. They were great. So, part of me is a little like, Tennessee, the South, but there it is, and I have roots there. So, good,
Think due to battery life of the camera.
For you, not me.
It's a beautiful